Hello, welcome to another edition of Tudor Talks. I'm Gabe Tudor, proud superintendent at Worcester City Schools. First, I want to take this opportunity to continue to let you know of the great successes and achievements of our students. Our speech and debate team won the Akron District last weekend for the 34th time out of 35 years. In addition, 24 more students qualified for the state meet. Congratulations, speech and debate. Our Power of the Pen team at the middle school, which is a writing competition, had 7 state qualifiers recently, and in a recent meet, our 8th grade finished first out of 19 teams, and our 7th grade finished third out of 19 teams. So congratulations to our Power of the Pen students. Also, a reminder, in the next week or so, most of our winter sports teams will be starting their postseason tournaments. I really encourage everyone to consider going out and cheering on our winter sports teams, as our athletes have worked very hard this year and have had really great seasons. We have 2 special events at our elementaries coming up this week. Keene will have a random act of kindness week where they celebrate act of kindness and really encourage that among their students. And Parkview will be having a Right to Read week where we really focus and encourage literacy. So 2 great events at our elementaries. I also want to let you know that our board meeting for this month has been changed from February 22nd due to a scheduling conflict to February 14th at 7 o'clock in the LGIR. We will have student recognitions that night, and we don't have a work session this month due to the reschedule. Lastly, I want to take this opportunity to share with you just a little bit about our master plan. In the past 6 months, you may have heard me or board members mention that we have been kind of thinking through and working on a facilities master plan to ensure we're ready and successful for the next 30 years. If you really think about it, about 30 years ago, a master plan was implemented here that built the new high school, moved Cornerstone to an elementary school, and really set us up for success for 30 years. And that's really what we want to do again. The last 6 months, through survey analysis and information we've gotten from community members, our master planning committee, which has teachers, people from the community and business, different people with experiences in facility management and things, have come together to kind of work through what does our master plan look like. Well, we're not completed, but we are definitely moving towards our end goal. Our end goal is to recommend a master plan to our Board of Education to consider for approval at our April meeting. Now, that doesn't mean that we will automatically start going out and trying to build buildings. That'll be the next step. Having to figure out is when is it time to actually start to implement this master plan. A few summary highlights of where we are in our process. And by the way, you can see a link on the bottom of the screen here, which has kind of a short 2-page summary about where we are in the master planning process and kind of some of the reasons why. A few highlights: we have at this point, as a committee, felt that the best decision for us as a school district is to build 3 schools. That would be a middle school or junior high, kind of depending on grade level, which we have still not completely determined, on our high school campus to connect to the high school, a lot of those instructional and facility kind of opportunities and advantages of being right there together. Building a primary building on our Cornerstone campus, which would allow us to have a presence in the southern part of town, utilize our wonderful play lab, and utilize our very nice preschool that has been renovated in the past few years. And build a 3rd building, which would be kind of that intermediate elementary, grades to be determined, somewhere between maybe grades 2 through 6, depending on the configuration that we figure out, where we would house our elementary, our 3rd elementary. In addition, we don't plan on doing this all at once. As part of the OFCC, which is the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission, they will provide us about 33% of our funding to build these buildings, which is wonderful. However, we have to wait until our number comes up with the OFCC in order to do that. So therefore, what we can do is we can build a few of these buildings at this time and then wait until our number came up and use the money that we'll get from building those 2 buildings to build the 3rd building. That's one of the reasons why you may have heard some things in the past 6 months or so about Edgewood's continued use and then why we're using some of our federal money that you might have heard of as ESSER to improve the HVAC and air conditioning at Edgewood in order to use that building for a longer period of time. And why is that? Because we will use that building while we're constructing buildings, and also because we won't build all 3 buildings at once. Edgewood will continue to be a building in use in our district for several years. The reason that we've kind of come up with this plan is that we really feel that instructionally, this is very good for our students and our teachers. Teachers' collaboration is much easier and effective when they are in the same school building. We also feel that from an equity standpoint, obviously different areas of our town have different demographics, and we feel that putting all of our students in the same school as part of Worcester City Schools is a benefit to our students and ensures the same experience for all. We also feel that building these buildings is important because of what we've been talking about the past few years, that Worcester's growing, which is really exciting. There's job demand here, there's housing demand here, and so we are anticipating enrollment growth. And so we want to be ready for that. We also want to make sure that we have buildings that are ready for 21st century learning. Kids don't learn the exact same way that they did 30, 40 years ago. We want to make sure that we have spaces that are ready for them to be able to learn the best way that they can. We're really excited about this process, but it is far from over. The Master Planning Committee will continue to meet regularly. Also, I will start to provide some opportunities for community members to come in, hear much more in depth about this process from myself, and I'd love to hear from you, as I want to get more and more feedback so that we can continue to tweak and revise our plan so that when we're ready to go to the board in April, we feel we have a really good representation of what our community needs and desires. Again, thank you for this opportunity to share this with you. There'll be much more to come in the next few months. And continue, go Woo!